Monday Night Raw Hot Takes, where I take your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes from the previous episode of Monday Night Raw, Smackdown, and or PLEs. And if you want a hot take from the unseen 17, John Cena himself, well, we got him saying on Twitter, X, I do not choose my opponents, but I, even through tough times, always listen to the fans at AJ Styles. Are you listening? Better yet, at Triple H. Are you listening? Hashtag Cena versus Styles. All right, so as Shazab Hassan says, the biggest name in the company has to appeal to the public to get better booking? What? Yeah, exactly. So the booking of John Cena's retirement tour has been so bad that John Cena, for the first time ever, has said, listen, I want this match, make it happen. Like, he's always trusted the process, but I guess he's lost faith in the Triple H process with only 5 appearances left. And cut! All right, looks like since I filmed, Triple H responded to John Cena and said, all right, here's the match you want. I guess he was listening to John. Triple H won't listen to us, but he'll listen to John Cena. And, well, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? John finally saying during this retirement tour, that doesn't work for me, brother, and says, give me AJ Styles. We're going to get this on my birthday, no less. All right, I don't care if this is a work or if this is a shoot. I'm getting AJ and John Cena. That works for me, brother. All right, let's do hot takes. I might do a whole video on this because I'm just like, I'm floored that John Cena did this. And hey, you know, kudos Triple H for giving John this match and us this match as well. Anyways, back to hot takes. Unfortunately, he only won 17. I wish he was won 18 of these bad boys right here. However, he didn't, but you can. I'm going to give away this belt right here on my shoulder. All you got to do to win it is comment below. I produce wrestling content daily. I even have a Patreon. Would appreciate it if you joined. But I produce wrestling content daily. So if you like wrestling, comment below to win this belt. Also, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell. Ding, ding, ding. Notification. And you can win said belt right here as I try to quit the day job. And speaking of bad booking, LA Knight, yeah, Wrestle Train says, I'm really angry at the way Triple H books LA Knight. It's genuinely ruining my enjoyment of WWE. And then we have Phil Leotardo Ghost disgusting that their most over guy, LA Knight, keeps getting jobbed the F out. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. In a vacuum, I don't mind LA Knight losing here to Jey Uso. It looks like we got 2 high mid-card guys that have a feud that is not based on respect. I think they can elevate each other. I really do. And we'll get back to this. But I understand why people would be just so upset seeing LA Knight lose once more right now. It's because over the last 3 years of LA Knight organically being over and just getting loud and loud pops, which is pretty amazing considering that he's only really won the U.S. title, and even that wasn't booked spectacularly. So, like, it's pretty amazing that LA Knight is still so over with the crowd. So, like, I understand why tonight sucks, because it's like opportunity after opportunity after opportunity they've had to push LA Knight and he has lost, and so you've given up. So when you see this, it's like, this sucks. But in a vacuum, and it's just LA versus Jey, this is cool and good. And what I think this feud right here could potentially be, and I'm probably giving Triple H too much credit, but this could potentially be for LA Knight and Jey Uso what the feud between The Rock and Triple H was in 1997, I believe. Yes, 97. Or was it 98? I think it might have been 98, where it was the Nation of Domination versus the X. You had 2 mid-card guys, high mid-card guys, but mid-card guys that went to war with each other, and when their feud was done, The Rock was in the main event, and Triple H soon followed. And that's what I'm hoping here. I know, we've already had Jey Uso in the main event. No, we didn't. We had some guy who yeeted a lot in the main event earlier this year. But this is the Jey Uso that we've all wanted. There was a lot of people that were like, how have you turned turned on Jey. I thought you loved Jey. We loved Jey. We loved this Jey Uso. And so I'm really hoping that this Jey Uso and this LA Knight, who has been organically over, they just say, screw it, let's steal the show every opportunity we get, and they raise themselves up. LA Knight, he's organically over. There's no question about it. But WWE, I wish this had left with Vince. They punish you if you got over yourself. But eventually, like Daniel Bryan, they have no choice to say, screw it, push him. So I'm really hoping that LA Knight fans don't abandon ship just yet. And this is the feud that gets them both over. A Jey Uso, who has tribal chief tendencies, but not yeeting all the time, but can still yeet here and there. And then LA Knight, who just needs to go to the top of the card, because this dude, he's not coming out with respect. He's coming out with fisticuffs, and I love the attitude. We need more of this kind of edge and attitude that these guys are presenting. If the main event scene won't have this type of edge, then we need to get these two into that main event scene ASAP. So I understand where you're coming from. Last night, I'm okay with LA Knight losing, but only if, the caveat is if, both of them can raise themselves up to that next level. All right, so let's do some other hot takes. We got Fresh and Fly saying Cody versus Seth, I wish wasn't happening. I think their Hell in a Cell match was a great way to end their trilogy, since it is Seth that needs to win. I believe that trilogy was great, and that trilogy will always be a trilogy, right? Just because they have another match doesn't make that trilogy of matches different, because now we're in different waters. They're different characters. Well, I guess Cody is still kind of the same, with the exception of he doesn't have to finish his story anymore. But Seth Rollins is a totally different character now. Therefore, it's kind of a new set, like the new trilogy. This is we're at episode 7 now, which I guess episode 7, 8, and 9 did suck when it comes to Star Wars. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Tiz Mickey says, I forgot all about the Crown Jewel Championships, but I don't care that what anyone says. I'm super excited for Seth and Cody again. Yeah, I'm very much. This Crown Jewel matchup is definitely better than last Crown Jewel matchup, where it was Gunther versus Cody Rhodes. Yeah, it was a cool match to see, but there was there was just no animosity there. Here, though, there's a tension. I just want feuds with tension, less respect, more violence. And while the division didn't beat down Cody, which I think they should have, we definitely had some tension here, and it was a good start to this. My fear, though, is they're gonna let Seth Rollins lose. Historically speaking, the world champion usually loses to the undisputed WWE title, so I really hope not. Seth losing 4 in a row to Cody, while there will be some ability to tell a story from that's in Seth's head. He can't beat Cody Rhodes, and so we could actually use that later down the road. But I would rather they do, Seth wins by cheating. And then later, if we do Cody and Seth again, Cody could say, you've never beat me without cheating. And then we can have that we can still instill the same doubt in Seth's mind that he can't beat Cody. So I need a visual pin here on Cody Rhodes, and we can still do the Cody is better than Seth storyline down like in next year or something like that. Alfonso Passion says, so pretty much Crown Jewel is a modern day Survivor Series, because it's pretty much champion versus champion, Raw versus Smackdown, just like it used to be. Well, I've been watching so long that actually what Survivor Series is, 5 guys or 4 guys and gals, and it's just random pair-ups. Like, it could be Cody Rhodes, the Viking Raiders, the War Raiders, and Damian Priest, and they would call themselves the Codelanders, and they would be fighting Seth Rollins, well, probably the Vision, Seth Rollins, the Bronze, and Dominic Mysterio, and they would be, they would call themselves the Dirty Vision, and that would be a Survivor Series match. Around the 2000s, what was it, 2010? That's when they started doing champion versus champion. I think that was more like the late 2000s. So this crown jewel is not even a callback to the original Survivor Series, but yeah, champion versus champion. Basically, it seems like that's what's gonna happen. Dylan says, I'm kind of upset the show didn't go the full time and it sucked. I really like the show, to be honest with you, but Raw doesn't have a time. Raw tends to it can go 3 hours, but I think typically it goes 2.5, give or take 5 minutes, maybe 10. Max Racer says WWE is like the McDonald's of pro wrestling. I wouldn't say it's the McDonald's, because you can still get some really juicy burgers every once in a while, like the Asuka Kairi stuff happening right now. I would say that it's more like Five Guys. Five Guys, because Five Guys, while yeah, it's a good burger, it's definitely not worth the price of that burger. If I'm going to spend over $40 for 3 people to go eat burgers, I'm probably going to go to Chili's or Applebee's. So yeah, WWE is Five Guys. While yeah, the food is decent, way overpriced. Charlie Yancey says Seth should lose again to Cody. I just don't agree to that at all. I just hate the world champion always losing. It's like, okay, we get it. We get what title you like more, WWE, but can we pretend? Can we pretend that the world championship is like equal? You love your 50-50 booking, so one year the undisputed, the next year the world champion. It's just, easy as that. Ron Talks Tabletop says, why can't we have a strong women's storyline on SmackDown? This Asuka, IYO, Rhea friend triangle is great. Yeah, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I will say, I really hated the Asuka, IYO friend storyline at first, but I am so on board with it, and that payoff was so amazing and beautiful last night. Why can't we get this kind of storyline on SmackDown? And shocker, there's not even really a world title involved in it. So, that makes it even better. That makes it even better. We want to talk equality. Well, let's throw some actual equality out there. Give the women a storyline that doesn't necessarily have to do with a world title, and boom, give them airtime and give them character development. That's all you got to do. Cam Nami, Finn possibly about to turn face? It's looking like that. He did have a really big face reception on NXT Homecoming, and yesterday, what he did, he stood up to Rusev, he saved his partner, and he yelled at Dominic Mysterio for not getting involved in helping JD when Rusev was destroying JD. And it's like, I really like evil, conniving, just bitter Finn Balor, but if we're not going to pull the trigger, then fine, turn him face. I wouldn't mind a really good Finn Balor face run. The Real Bunny Davis says, the acting is the biggest downfall. They all sound like they're reading off a script that they can't remember. What the F was he talking about with the watch? It's dumb stuff like that in the ring that nobody cares about. The watch, it was like Cody Rhodes gave the watch to every participant of the main event of WrestleMania. So that's what he was talking about. Maybe they should have explained it better, though, if you didn't know. It's not the viewer's responsibility to go and watch the Cody Rhodes interview of Becky Lynch on his podcast, all right? So if you didn't understand it, then WWE did drop the ball. Sayo Reacts says, Dogs of War should stick as a name for the Braun and Braun duo. Thanks for Wade Barrett for coming up with that. Dogs of War. What was Braun Breaker and Wade, what was his name? Bishop. The guy's name is Bishop nowadays. What was his name? Happy, how am I forgetting? Baron Corbin. Were they the War Dogs? Dogs of War, the War Dogs? I think they were the War Dogs or something. Dogs of War sounds good, though, for Braun and Braun. I didn't really want them to be a tag team at first, but they do have pretty good chemistry together, so not like Finn and JD are doing anything with the titles, so let's give the Brawns the titles, and I'm cool with War Dogs. Miles Player says, a better ending than the Vision beating everyone up every week. A very nice change. Agreed. Go Buggy says, I'm so happy that Raw finally has a different main event than Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker taking on the Usos and LA Knight, always in the main event. Yeah, very, very happy that we had something different. Though, ironically, that last night, that Jay LA Knight feud or match probably did deserve a main event spot. but I'm very happy with the one that Asuka and Rhea got it. Donatello Leonardo says the main event was very good. Finally a match without the Vision. Started off a bit slow, but it got really good towards the end. Every move they did was intentional, and it made sense overall. And bonus points for Kairi Sane being absolutely hilarious with her mannerisms, trying to hold back from hitting Rhea. Yeah, everybody knew the job they needed to play, and they did a fantastic job. Very, very happy with how this turned out. It was refreshing. It was new. It was like, Raw was pretty good last night. Very storyline driven. DS Mills says, I'm a major fan of Rhea, but dang, dude, seeing her absolutely covered in the green mist was bonkers. It was so much. It was a lot. Like, how did she get it over? Did Asuka, like, bite, like, 20 capsules or something? Did she, like, fill her whole mouth up with capsules and was like, all right, you know? It was like, man. She said, it was hilarious. I'm dying over here, Chop. So DS Mills loved that happened. And, yeah, it was, like, it was vicious. It was vicious, but it needed to be. I love everything about Asuka and Kairi is over-exaggerated, so let's make the mist over-exaggerated as well. Programmed for damage for two of the biggest stars on the roster. That opening promo was drier than the Sierra. Yeah, you know what? I think that's valid. Yeah, it was good, but is it good because the last couple of months we haven't really had that good of a promos? I enjoyed it, but like, I think you have a point. Kid Wilkes says, I have been a fan of Stephanie McKeer since I saw her wrestle a year and a half ago, but that promo she made is making me consider her my favorite wrestler of all time. Kid Wilkes, I love her passion. I love that she's been a fan since the moment she saw wrestling, and yeah, you know, you can tell. Now, I do hope and pray that we give her some actual feuds, because the love of the sport can only take you so far. She needs some banger storylines to sink her teeth into, but on a human level, I am also connecting with Stephanie and her love of wrestling. It's OTW. This is the Jey we should have got post-Mania. Would have made his title run way more memorable. Absolutely agree. What we got was not Jey Uso. This is the Jey Uso that we all fell in love with. And surprise, surprise, everybody is starting to cheer him once more. In the audience and at home. Carmichael says, can we stop pretending that the steel chair is kryptonite to wrestlers? Jimmy comes in with a chair and the Brawns back away in fear. Please make it stop. Yeah, you're right. You know, the night before, they're just using a chair as a normal weapon, but now it's like, oh my God, he has a chair. So it's like, one or the other. One night it can't be as common as a clothesline, and the next night it can't be the most dangerous weapon in all of sports entertainment. Just pick. Either a chair is deadly or it's not, and then run with that. Roger Michael says AJ Styles should be John Cena's last opponent in December. I don't think it should be his last. I want it to be somebody that needs it more, like Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, an up-and-comer. Oba Femi, Trick Williams, that would be great. Carmelo Hayes even, but not AJ Styles. However, I desperately do want AJ versus John Cena. Please just let that be our Australian crown jewel match. Please. Cyberman Vault, boring poop. I disagree. I gave it 8 out of 10 chops. I did yawn 14 times yesterday, but it was not boring poop to me. But if it was to you, hey, you know what? To each their own, and we have different tastes. And if it wasn't up to your liking, hopefully next week will be. Jasper Von Chill says, JD and Finn kind of looked like the faces tonight. It was obvious that they were going to split with Dom from Judgment Day. Well, it's not, I mean, it seems like this split has been happening for a very long time, but JD and Finn has gone a different direction. They are leaning more towards good guys now, because Finn, for the most part, has been just very much a jealous, conniving person in the background. But today he wasn't. Today he was a true member of a faction that should be family. Dom was acting the cowardly heel here, and he should act the cowardly heel, but he did so such a way that it made Finn and JD the good guys. Mr. Gray says, I know this isn't about Monday Night Raw, but here it is. Randy Orton is a straight up legend and is not even working part-time. Just look at this year. No Rumble, no Elimination Chamber, no marquee match at WrestleMania. WrestleMania, I hope KO gets well. So that the marquee match at WrestleMania, I wouldn't count that. But everything else you said, a filler match, tag match at SummerSlam, no spot on ESPN, WrestlePalooza, everything else you're saying legit, and it's like that is a head scratcher. That is a head scratcher. Are we just waiting? Are we just waiting for the fabled Cody Orton moment? And I heard that both Cody and McIntyre wanted Orton to get involved in their match, leading to Drew actually winning the title. But nope, we didn't do that either. And I think they should have. And that would have gave Randy a spot, because yeah, what are we doing with Randy? Skywalker says Grande Americano is finally getting the respect after decades and decades of underground fights. Cannot wait for him to be a Crown Jewel champion for the second time. Well, he has to be a Crown Jewel champion for the first time to be a second time, but you know what? Let's do it. Let's give him all the belts, because Grande Americano, it's such a shame that a lot of his prime years were spent blacklisted from wrestling, and he had to do so many underground fights. I'm glad he's getting the respect and dues now, but like, yeah, we just gotta push this guy to the moon, because he's just a living legend. It's just such a shame we lost out on his prime years, but it looks like he hasn't missed a beat, so I am happy. Whatever. I'm just happy that he's finally getting the recognition that he deserves. And I guess his brothers as well. Gilmore Head says, Bayley's new gimmick isn't clicking with me yet. It feels recycled from the shelved split personality idea they had teased for Ron Killings. You're right. That's fair. I understand why it's not going to click for everybody. Sometimes wrestling can be a little too zany. I'm okay with it, but you are absolutely right on the comparison with the drop storyline of R-Truth and Ron Killings. And that does suck, because I think R-Truth could have did a lot with that. TTJC says, Dom and Judgment Day gave Rusev so much aura just being afraid of him. Yes, they have. I have not been on board with Rusev until last week. The moment he walked up to Dom, it seemed like Rusev was just fully rejuvenized, and I loved him today. I think he should have beat JT quicker, but besides that, this was a very good showing for Rusev, and I'm actually excited for Rusev and this feud with Dominic. Number 2, Not Friends versus Warriors versus Rhea and Io for the tag titles in Perth. Ladder match. Ooh, that would be good. That would get, yeah, let's do that. I'm all for that. I know maybe throwing the Not Friends, Charlotte and Alexa in there is kind of like, we don't need to throw them in there because there is a storyline going on, but this would allow the storyline to continue while getting the belts on the Kabuki Warriors. I'd be for that. Guy Wonder Wolf. Jimmy better choose a side. He can't always be on Jay's and LA Knight's side. Yeah, he's going to have to choose a side. And Jimmy is playing the part of Jay, and Jay is playing the part of Roman circa 2020. And eventually, I think Jimmy will side with Jay, and it's going to be begrudgingly. And our final hot take is FMJ, the women main eventing and getting more time in the spotlight. This show was a direct product of ESPN giving WrestlePalooza a C, with them saying the women carried the main event. This is a great step forward, but I think and expect WWE to go 4 steps back in the very near future. Yeah, 1 step forward, 4 steps back. I will say this. I am still not happy with the ESPN WWE deal, but I will give credit where credit is due. ESPN called out the WWE product for its meh product at WrestlePalooza. And so I am very happy because Triple H all day long can say that us internet basement dweller neckbeards, that our opinions don't matter, but he can't say that to ESPN. So now they're going to be forced to listen to actual criticisms. And surprise, surprise, our criticisms is the same as ESPN's. And Triple H, you're going to have to be accountable now to meh storytelling. And I'm very, very happy for that. And if that continues, if ESPN continues to actually be fair and unbiased, I might consider moving back to the United States and actually subscribing to ESPN. So there you go. Boys, girls, you have yourselves a wonderful day. I thank you very much for all of your hot takes. Don't forget, do have a Patreon channel where I do videos exclusively 3 to 4 every week, including Lucha Underground watch-alongs. See ya, bye.